Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this video. This short video is going to be basically an overview of what three people have done with a home-based business that has really transformed each of their three lives. So we're very glad that you're listening. And so let's go ahead and get started. The topic really today is, why did you choose to partner with a Japanese manufacturer? Everyone needs to market something. You're either marketing a service or you're marketing products. And so when you start a business, you pick your supplier, whether it's going to be Subway's going to supply you or somebody over in Japan is going to supply you with something. So the three of us on this call basically chose a Japanese manufacturer. We'll talk a little bit about what they manufacture, because each of us wanted to start our own business. And so that's what today's call is about, to see if this is something that maybe would be a blessing to you as it's been to the three of us. So before we get started, I'm just going to make sure that I mute everyone who is a guest. Yes. Let's see. Okay. All right. So we'll go ahead and get started. So again, thank you for joining us on this call, and we'll start with Igor. Igor, if you'll go ahead and share with us, why did you pick this Japanese company, Nikken, to start a business for yourself in?
That's a good question. And I didn't choose it, it chose me. So I originally came out of the fashion business. I was working in Germany, immigrated to the United States, got into the healthcare field, became a massage therapist and physical therapist, and I thought that was what was going to be my track in life. I got out of the retail business, my family retail business, because I wanted to help people. And that was, I felt, my calling. So after a while, I noticed that as a therapist, well, I would not attain the American dream, if you want to say. You know, having a certain amount of time and time freedom and money freedom. I knew that wasn't going to happen. So I kind of put it out there. There has to be something else. Well, I was approached one day and invited to look at this Japanese company. Unbeknownst to me, I thought I was just going to a lecture where they would actually tell me what magnetism does on living things. Well, it turned out to be an opportunity meeting. After which, after 3 hours, it was very long. They're not that long anymore today, but it was very long. And I got very much involved. After which I just signed up and said, well, you know, I was in retail, and if I can get something at wholesale, well, that's already a win. And if the product works, well, maybe I'll share it with other people. My wife had an incredible result with the product. And then I had to figure out how it works. You know, my German mind is, oh, how does it work? I got to know. Well, I just saw that people were getting better. I heard from people that got better. And I was like, something's working here. Or at least I've never heard of anybody that was admitted to a hospital because of an adverse reaction to a magnet.
Correct.
So what happened was that I was like, oh my goodness, I got to look at the business closer. Why? Because it may be exactly that, what I've been looking for. Our son, when I got into this business, my son was 4 months old. And I said, I don't want the same thing to happen to me that I had to go through with my parents. My dad was never there. I said, I want to be there. So I was looking not only to improve our life financially, but also to have the time to actually be with my family. And along the way, I just, looked at things of, well, what is it that I need to know about this? And then all of a sudden, I met more people, I met successful people, and I've learned a couple of basic things. They're almost like common sense. If you want to be successful, hang out with the successful people.
Yeah.
Well, where are the successful people? Well, they're at events. Well, go to events. So I did. I went there. I talked to only the successful people. I wanted to know how they think. I wanted to know what they read. I want to know what they listen to. Because I said, something in their head is working, so they're there where they are at. And something in my head's not working because I'm not there. So
Good
kind
point.
of that was, I try to basically break it down to what is the absolute basics. So
Well, you and I have known each other for a long time.
a long time.
I think you mentioned you were living in like a 1,200 square foot house when you
Oh, you
took this
wish.
opportunity.
You wish.
Is that stretching it?
That is stretching it. It was 809 square feet with no AC in Sarasota, Florida.
Wow. But
I mean,
again,
I
the
still
career
wonder,
you
why did my
had,
wife
that's what you
actually,
could
what?
afford, right?
Hmm?
The career you had, that's all you could afford.
Oh yeah, that's all I could afford. And I was living the American dream by then, because it was all about having credit, and having credit means that you were in credit card debt. And I had that. It was wonderful.
Awesome. Well, and so what has been the biggest transformation when you started your Nikken business? Give us an idea of what are some of the things that changed from that time before this.
Number one, I would say at some point along the way, first it was hope. I hope this is going to work. Then I felt, oh, I think this is going to work. And then I knew it was working. So there is a transition, you know, because when we look for something, we look to better our lives. And that was my main drive. I wanted to have a better life for my family. I wanted not have to worry about bills. I didn't want to worry about a mortgage. I didn't want to worry about a car payment. I didn't want to worry about college. Those were the things I said, if this is possible, let me dream big enough so I can actually understand it. And that was, well, if I got the basics covered, I think I'm fine. Well, what I didn't know, it far exceeded that. So now all of a sudden, you know, after a couple of years, I was in a freedom stage, something I would have never heard in my family ever happen, something that I don't know about people that I had that were surrounding me. And I all of a sudden was, well, I was there where I didn't think I would end up. I all of a sudden was a leader like the leaders I was following. And the only way I found out about it was that one day the leaders asked me, what on earth are you doing? They wanted to learn from me.
Well, let me ask you a question. Income-wise, how many years when you started your home-based business, how many years have you been connected with this manufacturer, Nikken, which is based in California, but how many years?
24 years.
24 years.
24
and
years.
You have earned about how much in income?
12 million.
So I'm going to take $12 million and I'm going to divide it into 24 years.
You always have your calculator with you?
Okay.
Well, an iPhone.
So 24 years divided into 12 million, divided into 12 months. You've been averaging $41,000 a month. If you take everything that you've earned, you divide it into the years and you divide it into the month. Do you know how many people in my life, I don't know about you, how many people did you know before this that averaged in a 24-year period? I mean, I never even earned $40,000 in a year. You were doing it in a month.
Yep. So
did you know people that earned $40,000 in a month?
No, never in my life. Never in my wildest dreams even.
So to accomplish that, did you put together a team?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, this doesn't happen because, you know, of a single effort that you're doing. But when you look at it, it's, if you are a difference maker, and at one point that's what it becomes. I mean, you become a better person. You develop yourself. You become stronger, more confident. You understand what it means to take on leadership, which means becoming a servant leader. You're just giving service to others. It is the experience that you have made within what you're doing and that what you're giving to others. So it is being creating hope for others. Like what I said, what the first thing is, you know, it's usually you're in a hope stage. I hope this is going to work. And as a successful person, it's you're responsible to give this confidence to other people. Yes, it does. I'm just the example that it does. I'm the one that you can hold on to so you have a reference that it does work.
Well, I remember when I first met you, your accent, English, you really hadn't mastered even English. I mean, you could speak it, but it wasn't something you were really comfortable with, right?
Oh, you're not kidding, are you?
Funny. That's funny. Awesome. All right, well, we'll come back to you. Thank you so much.
You're
So
welcome.
here's a success story of somebody that was looking for a business. Obviously, Igor at the time didn't have the income to go buy a $1 million McDonald's franchise. And if he wants to help people, he probably wouldn't have thought of McDonald's as something helping people. But interesting, fascinating story. Let's go to Canada now and speak to another gentleman named Bo. And Bo knows, that's a famous American saying, but I think Bo know before Bo know, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and turn it over to you. Give us an idea, Bo. Why did you choose? Again, the question is, why did you take as a entrepreneur and say, I can have any business I want with whatever your income was at the time to invest? Why did you pick this one?
Several reasons. Number one, I didn't have any money and I didn't have any time. So I had to find something that I could do very part-time. Just to backtrack, before Nikken, I had done a lot of different things. I was a musician and an artist and an entrepreneur. After about 15 years on the road as a musician, I had a family, small children. I didn't want to travel anymore, so I became an entrepreneur. I had successful video stores. Anybody out there old enough to remember VHS and Beta? And I did well with those. I sold those thinking I am a hotshot entrepreneur. And I opened up a restaurant, a small deli, and it wiped me out. Plus, at the timing, at that point, I had no more cash for another business. So I got into real estate during a crashing market. So yeah, I'm a hotshot entrepreneur, all right. And so I was struggling. But while I was a real estate agent, I met Bruce Black, who was a retired multimillionaire who was selling a beautiful estate. And I got to know him. We became friends. And he was involved in Nikken, and he turned me on to it. And I'm thinking, why is this very wealthy man doing this home-based business? There's got to be something going on. He's got too much money and too much credibility at risk. So I came to a meeting just like Igor did. It wasn't 3 hours long, but in the hour, I saw and heard enough that I thought I've got to get involved. If the products are 1/4 as good as I'm hearing from testimonials from people, and there were some very amazing stories by people and doctors, how effective the products were at making people feel better. I got some products, started using them. My sore knees got better. I started sleeping better. But I, as a former musician and real estate agent, I'm hypercritical of everything around me and hyper skeptical. Because in music and in real estate and other places, there's a lot of BS. And so I got the products on my kids, on my mother, family, and friends, and just about everybody felt better, less discomfort, sleeping better, a number of issues. So that's what I really got excited. And at this point, I had some prior experience in home-based business. I didn't do well, but I was a real student of it, and I learned enough to know that the potential was extraordinary. So, and I would recommend everyone to look into and Google the cash flow quadrant. That's one thing that happens in being involved in Nikken, a great deal of financial education. We learn about the different ways people make money. In fact, our hostess here, Susan, she's got a company name called M3 Strategy, which is really one of the strategies of how to make money. It's not trading time for money. It's not about being an employee. It's about building a system or a network of people that can give you leverage, that can multiply your effectiveness through dozens or hundreds or eventually thousands of people like all of us have done here on this call. And so when I saw the products and their great potential and their uniqueness,
Yes.
and the ability to create that kind of income, I was very excited because I was broke, had 2 small children, a lot of stress, no time, no money. But I knew if I didn't do anything, nothing would change. So I did what I could with what little I had, got some products, started seeing 1 or 2 people a day, had a coffee. I'd call up my friend, Igor, let's have a coffee. I got something you got to look at. And over time, actually about 3 or 4 months, I spoke to 100 people because I knew not everyone's going to be interested. It didn't matter as long as enough people were interested. And about 20 people got involved, but 5 of them were serious. The others were just customers, but 5 of them were serious, and that grew into a network. And within 6 months, I was able to leave real estate and go full time.
Wonderful. So what did you do? Did you put together a team like Igor did? What is that? I mean, you ask people, say, hey, I'd like you to join me in business. I'd like you to look at this. What were some of the qualities you were looking for when you were putting together a team within your company?
I'd like to say that it was my incredible skill.
I was going to say charisma.
And charisma. But it wasn't really like that. I hate to say this, but if they could fog a mirror, because you know, with this business, it's really a networking business. And I might sponsor or get someone involved who is an average person and not necessarily highly motivated. But I know how the business works. And if I ask them the right questions and help them get started, they know people I don't know who could be potential superstars. And that's what happened. None of the people that I actually got involved were anything really special in that sense, business-wise. They're wonderful people and mostly nice, caring people. But everybody knew the top real estate agent in town, the top insurance guy. Everybody knew somebody who really was ready to do something big and exciting, and or was very hungry to make some real money, 6 figures and above. So by building that network and helping them build a network and helping them build a network, a few dozen became a few hundred, and within about 5 years became a few thousand, and then it grew from there.
Well, really what I think all of us here on the call want to share with those that are listening is the fact that it's all about multiple sources of income. It's all about multiple sources of income. If you have a piece of property that's this big and you want to create a good income, do you put 1 house on it or do you put 8 apartments on it? It's the same footprint as far as that 2,000 square feet on the bottom. But then when you start stacking them, there you have multiple sources of income. So on that 4-story apartment complex, you got $1,000 of rent coming in from this one, $1,000 coming in from this one. You've got $8,000 of rent coming in from that one apartment building, right? That's $8,000 a month. If you take that same lot and you put 1 house, maybe you can rent it for $1,500 to $2,000. So it's a choice that all of us have. And that's something that I saw. And you were talking about the free financial information by being involved and being part of this company. It was amazing. I got tax tips. I got incorporation tips. I got all kinds of free support. And it changed the way I saw things too, because I used to have a job myself. And I was like, wow, multiple sources of income. Do I want someone to pay the mortgage here on this house, to pay for my car, to pay for my food, or do I want to carry all of that myself? And so I absolutely fell in love with the concept. And I hope all of you that are listening really kind of remember that you've got a piece of property. That's where you're going to work from. Do you want to build 1 single house on it, or do you want to have multiple sources of income coming in? And I love it. I have 3,000 multiple sources of income every single month. Now I've got, like as Bo said, I've got a network that has just over 10,000, but some of them are customers. Some of them, like Igor mentioned, or they just wanted to buy wholesale a couple of times and that's it. when you think about it, on my lot, I've got 3,000 little sources of income. And some of it's not sexy. Some of it's $5. Some of it's $2. Some people make me $1,100. Some people make me $75. But when you start sweeping 3,000 multiple sources of income into one pile, that's what creates the check. And that's what creates the time freedom. And I haven't had a job in 23 years. And I'm unemployable. And you consider yourself unemployable?
Absolutely unemployable.
Yeah. Igor?
Definitely.
Yeah, it'd be hard to go back.
Our job would be a tremendous inconvenience at this point.
Yeah, it really would, because you got stuff to do Monday through Friday, right? So as I ask the final question, gentlemen, and again, to those that are listening, if you fall in love with the concept of multiple sources of income, then this will never be work to you, because all I was doing is putting together those apartments. And the nice thing is I didn't have the money to build anything, not alone even buy the lot, let alone put up 8 apartments, right? But I used the same system in this. I volunteered. Nobody paid me. I got some samples of these products that are magnetic, that are infrared, clean water, technologies that help the body to heal itself faster. Igor talked about magnetics and infrared. So please get educated on the technologies. And they are very unique, as Bo said. A lot of them are monopolies, and that really got my attention too. So we have these amazing products that we market and represent through a group of volunteers. So the first thing you do is you volunteer. And then the second thing you do is you get your samples so you can actually put them in. And as Igor said, he started putting them on people, and people started going, what? This is awesome. And then that's what created the curiosity and opened up the doors for business partners and also for customers. But the idea all starts with saying something's got to change. All 3 of us were in not a happy financial situation, but we took action. And we took action feeling comfortable with a Japanese company, because very rarely do you pick up the newspaper and see that another Japanese company is going out of business. It's almost unheard of. So we felt good in that, and combined, the 3 of us have 75 years with this company. It's very, very solid. So the thing that I just want to end with is one last question. If you had to get started again, Igor, what would you do the same, and what would you do different today?
Well, I would say that's a pretty simple question to answer. First and foremost, I would probably do exactly what my successful upline tells me to do, because that was one of the things that I did not do. I listened, but I didn't hear, and I did my own thing. And so I think if you're new, just accept that you have no clue what to do, and that is a good space to be in. Like I said, my biggest mistake was my ignorance, and that I thought that I knew things better and that I had to do it kind of my way, and that cost me dearly. Did I make mistakes? Probably every mistake that is out there. Did it cost me? Like I said, definitely time and money. And if you feel that you can trust a person, or you find a person in your upline that you can trust, and you see what they do and you see their results, and it's something that you're seeking, then I would say connect with that person and then do exactly what that person tells you to do. It is a high, we have 2 things on both rails that our business is on, product and business, and they're both highly experiential. So, but the good thing is that the vehicle that we set on these rails doesn't require you to have to build a new vehicle. No. You literally just have to sit in it, get on the steering wheel. You'll have a driver's ed next to you that tells you exactly what to do, and then drive into the sunset of your dreams. I mean, that's all we do. We open the doors to the sunny side of life. And we've proven that, every one of us. Why? Because of longevity. Right. Find another company, or especially in our industry, where top leaders stay this long. There's a reason. And I just had that conversation with a neighbor of mine who's in another network marketing company. Actually, he just left that. Why? Because it was a service company, and he was completely excited about the results. Guess whom he calls on when he injures his calf muscle? He calls me and says, "Can you give me some of the magnets? I need them now." So he's getting closer. I like that.
Good.
Another thing is one thing that really blew my mind, and that was my father, who's 82 years old. He just called me the other day. He says, "I was at my cardiologist," and he said he's the head. He had to tell him. He says, "You're the healthiest male 82-year-old I've ever seen. What do you do?" And he said, "My son takes care of me." And I tell you, I love this business. There, you can't stop talking about it. And now, after being so long involved, I can now see when my parents, my friends that have been using it for a long time, how they feel. Now, when you get excited, then it's really important that you get somebody who knows what they're doing and has results, and then just follow them.
Awesome. Bo, you had to start again. What would you keep? What would you change all these years later?
Well, some things have changed in that now we have amazing consumable nutritional products, environmental products, water, and I believe we're getting a new air unit. So the idea is we're creating a wellness home, a healthy environment. And once I realized that the products were for baby boomers like me, for young people, children, young athletes, people who want to maintain their health, I got very excited. And what I would do different is I would see more people. We can never make anybody say or do anything. So we can attract people by being excited about what we're doing. One thing I did right was in my first few months, I launched my business like a rocket. I got a lot of people looking at Nikken on the products, and out of those found some business builders who were really ambitious. Like I said, not necessarily the ones I got involved, but their people, and some of them became the Michael Jordans and the Tiger Woods of Nikken. So that's one of the amazing things about this business that most people don't realize. But what I would do differently is I would do a launch once a year for the next 5 years, in your first 5 years. If you can get your business off the ground, sponsor 15 or 20 people, most of them will be customers or doing a little bit. A few of them, 1, 2, or 3, 4, if you're lucky. I found 5 will be serious business builders. Help them do the same, help those people do the same, and dig for diamonds, as we say. But then the next year, do it again the next year, and eventually you can be living like most people can only dream about. And that did happen to, I think, all of us here. And it's a wonderful thing when you realize that money is not the solution to personal happiness and fulfillment.
No.
Like Zig Ziglar used to say, it's really close to oxygen. It's really a good thing to have an abundance of income so that your cup runneth over and you can help other people. So it's been wonderful.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much. Again, for those that are watching, just looking for people that basically, maybe some of you can relate to some of our stories. If you're looking for a business that is less than $5,000, way less than $5,000.
Way less.
And you can do it part-time. Like all 3 of us had to start out just doing an hour here, 30 minutes here. We sacrificed those 30 minutes and that hour and a phone call here and an email there. Why did we do that? Because we had a bigger picture. What did the 3 of us get as the reward of that faithfulness? A bigger picture. So, gentlemen.
And we got some wonderful friends. We've known each other for a long time, and we have a huge network and community of like-minded, positive, healthy people.
Yeah, I always have said what they should charge just to hang around, not necessarily us, but just to be, for all of us to hang around each other, there should be a charge because, I mean, most of the time at people's jobs and the companies they own, everybody's just kind of disgruntled and negative. So yeah, it's a positive group of people. Good. Guys, thank you so much for all of you watching. Thank you so much, and make it a great rest of your day. thanks for listening, and I hope that this was beneficial for you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Susan. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Susan.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen. Bye.